Angelo Development Corporation to be held on April 24th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. at the East Mezzanine of City Hall, 72 West College Avenue, San Angelo, Texas, for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. Number one, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 8:30. And please join me in prayer. Father God, we ask you for forgiveness for all of our shortcomings. We ask you that you bless us with your guidance and impart wisdom upon us so that we can make great decisions for this wonderful community we live in and for all of its people. We thank you for the many blessings you bestow on us, many of which we take for granted. And we ask this through your Christ, your Son, our Savior. Amen. Public comment. Issues or items that are not on the agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, begin by stating their name, and limit remarks to less than 3 minutes. Board members may request that a discussed item be placed on a future agenda item. The board takes public comment on all regular agenda items during the discussion of these items. Do we have any public comment?
We do. Good morning. Michael Looney, VP of Economic Development with the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce.
Morning.
Wanted to congratulate you all and thank you for your support for the transaction that was done out in the industrial park that is underway. It's under construction. That is the Amazon Distribution Center. Wanted to just acknowledge the partnership between the Chamber and COSA DC, and its importance, I think, was highlighted by that transaction. We're still not at liberty to discuss any details about it, but I did want to acknowledge this body and thank you all for your support, partnership, and in the future, we'll be able to divulge more about the project as it progresses, but it is under construction. They're moving dirt, and that's just something I wanted to, it was important for me to come out this morning and just say thanks a lot. Thank you very much to everybody. Also like to add that another project that we've been working on since 2016, this is a skilled nursing facility, a 52,000 square foot brand new state-of-the-art skilled nursing facility. Also had a groundbreaking 2 weeks ago, and that is a healthcare related sector project that should also be ready for opening in 14 months. And that is also, that's 90 new jobs, 119 rooms, and that's again another example of stick-to-itiveness. 2016 is when we started working on it. So anyway, thank you all very much for your support, and the Chamber of Commerce definitely appreciates the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your leadership as well. All right. We'll move on to item number 4, the consent agenda. A, consider approving the regular meeting minutes from March 27, 2024. B, consider approving the necessary corporation disbursement. C, consider authorizing the board president to execute letters of support for all tax, irrigation, and supply seeking funding from the San Angelo Area Foundation or other possible organizations to assist in funding one or more community splash pads. D, consider approving an agreement by and between the City of San Angelo Development Corporation and Taurus Technologies, Inc. in the amount of $28,431 via the Interlocal Purchasing System, Contract 24-00050 for technology upgrades in the Business Resource Training Room, and authorizing the board president or the designee to execute all necessary documents. Do we have a motion?
Max, can I ask to pull D just to get more information on that?
I'm sorry, pull D?
Can we pull D?
Okay,
And
sure.
then motion to approve outside of that?
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a first by Director Mahaffey and a second by Dr. Jones to approve agenda items A, B, and C, and pull D for further discussion. Although, any discussion on that? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. Nora, did you have something?
Okay, and you had some questions in regards to D?
Just a quick run through with what exactly this entails.
Okay, so I believe it was back in about a year and a half ago. We had equipment that we needed to update in actually the Dave Erickson training room. And so when we first moved in there, we hadn't done anything else in any updates. And so we installed the first go around with projectors and a computer and a little bit of audio. Well, now when we did that, we missed something It was a switch. And so the switch is not compatible to the new equipment. And so now we've found ourselves that sometimes the switch turns off, so I had to get on the ladder and switch the equipment on. So this does that, plus we'll get new audio in the back of the room.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So, any other discussion on that item?
I appreciate Norm referring to the training room by its name, the Dave Erickson Training Room. I'd just
Yes.
like to request that the minutes reflect that name.
Yes.
Rather than just calling it the BRC Training Room.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve item 4D?
So move.
Okay, do we have a second? Second. Okay. So we have a first by Director Mahaffey, second by Director Rodriguez. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. We will move on to item 5, the regular agenda. A, consider approving the March 2024 financials, presentation by Tina Diersky.
Good morning, Board. Thank you. Tina Diersky, Director of Finance. I don't know how to work this one. Maybe I can do it right. The March financials for you for review today. Sales tax came in March at 5.39% over the previous year, and then in April came in at 6.28% over the same month in the previous year. So still trending positively year to date. I think we're up year to date about 2.5% over budget and over the previous year. On your balance sheet for the economic development side, we have about $5.9 million in cash in the money market accounts, and then about $6 million in investments. Your unassigned fund balance is $6 million, and you do also have about $1.9 million in your current budget for future projects or other projects that may come up during the current fiscal year. On your income statement for economic development, sales tax was at 53% of budget, so trending well. Your interest on investments is at 100% already year to date, and so you'll exceed your budget for that as well. We had some minor payments go out for admin type expenses, as well as the payments for the city staff services contract, as well as the chamber contract, and also some project expenditures. One for SME Prime went out this month, as well as to Skyline P3 agreement. And on your balance sheet for the ballot side, you have about $11 million in cash and money market accounts, $3 million in longer-term investments. And your unassigned fund balance there is about $7.4 million. And on the income statement for the ballot side, again, sales tax is at 53% of what we've budgeted at halfway through the year. Interest on investments is at 128%, or $60,000 more than what we actually budgeted. And then again, you had some minor expenses go out for city services, affordable housing, and then also $5.5 million went out for a debt service. So those were the big ones on the ballot side. That's all I have as far as my presentation. Y'all have any questions for us?
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay. No? All right. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we will. Okay, super. All right, so then do we have a motion to approve the financials? Okay. Yes. And then second?
Second.
All right, so we have first by Director Rodriguez, second by Director Spano. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Nora. All right, B, consider a resolution authorizing the board president to negotiate and execute an economic development incentive agreement with Atlas Transport in an amount not to exceed $150,000, a project authorized under Chapters 501 and 505 of the Texas Development Corporation Act, necessary to promote economic development and expand business enterprises which create or retain primary jobs, and recommending approval by City Council. Presentation by Bob Schneeman.
Good morning.
Morning,
Bob
Bob.
Schneeman, Economic Development Project Manager. This project is for Allen's Transport USA. They are a Alberta, Canada-based company that opened an operation here in San Angelo about a year ago. They're located down on Gas Plant Road. And they currently have 5 employees. They're planning an expansion that will, they'll be buying 5 new semi-tractors and hiring 5 new drivers. They'll also be adding some additional storage tanks for the products that they haul. So they'll be investing a total of about $1.5 million capital investment. We're proposing, staff is proposing we're actually going to propose a $125,000 capital investment grant and then a $25,000 for jobs created. That would be $5,000 per job. Slide's a little bit misleading there. So the total project incentive would be $150,000. Return on investment on that is about 5.9 years. And the total 5-year community economic impact would be $6.58 million. And that's by total community, we mean city, county, and school district. And we did this we had been running these for 10 years. We're doing them for 5 now. It seems to make a little more sense, especially on something that's going to get a payback in about 5 years. So be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? No? All right. Cool. Thank you, Bob. So at this, do we need to do public comment first, right? Right? Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Do we have any public comment on this line item?
Hold on.
On this item.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
We're on 5B.
5B, Allen's Transport?
Yes.
Yes, I do have a comment. Jamal Shumpert, single member district number 2. I had a comment about us incentivizing companies that are out of the country. I went to look at their website. The website doesn't list that they're an American company. It does list that they are in Leduc, Alberta, Canada. I understand that they were, expanding into Texas, but, once we give them those dollars, those tax dollars, they actually leave our economic system and go to Canada. So I was wondering, if that's feasible, long term. What if a bunch of foreign companies or Canadian companies decide to come to Texas because we don't have a state income tax and skip that state income tax that way, and then we take out of the half-cent sales tax fund to fund them. So it's kind of like not a circular path of where the money circulates within our country completely, although they will have, residents in San Angelo. But that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So, and do we have any other public comment? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve from the board?
Move approval. Move approval.
Okay. Okay, we have a first by Dr. Jones, second by Director Rodriguez. Any discussion? No? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Max,
Bob.
Max, before we move on, could we reopen the consent agenda items and the financial report item and ask for public comment on those? We don't have to take any different action. We don't have to retake action. But to give the public opportunity to comment is what the objective is.
Okay, sure.
Could we?
And so item 4A is what you're saying?
4A is just fine.
Okay. Okay, sure. Come on up. We'll hear your public comment.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is Jamal Shumpert, again, single member district number 2. I did have a comment about y'all financial statements on the next to the last page. I've noticed over the past, 3 years, 2023, 2024, 2022, the budget's been, for affordable housing, the budget's been almost twice its normal size. It almost, more than twice was actually allocated to affordable housing. 335,000 each year is allocated to affordable housing, but over the last 3 years, it's almost been like $600,000 a year. And I think the money that's allocated to that line item of affordable housing goes back to the future projects fund instead of the unassigned balance fund, if I'm correct. That's kind of the question I had. I didn't know where that extra money goes to, because I know the future projects fund and stuff more active than the unassigned fund balance. Just trying to make sure that, we actually do what we allocate towards affordable housing. And I know we can't go past 335,000, so I was wondering why we kept doing it year after year, over budgeting, over 100% of what we can actually allocate. All right, thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Max, we're really just supposed to take comment, but the short response would be that any underspending results in an item under budget, and that amount gets carried over into the new year. Sometimes that can accumulate to a relatively large amount, and that carryover is what they used for this most recent quasi-blitz style proposal that they made. So under expenditures do get rolled into the next year's opportunity for housing.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
And Michael, just to clarify, does that go to the fund balance and then the board does have an agenda item to address spending out of that fund balance, or does that stick to that line?
Tina?
Okay.
In other words, any unused funds from the previous year, is it earmarked specifically for?
Yes, so since it's legally restricted, it automatically gets carried over into the next fiscal year.
Right.
There are carryovers that we do whereby a department has to come and request to carry over, because technically, you're correct, it goes to fund balance at year end, and then it's pulled back out in the new year.
Okay, so just want to clarify that then any items that are seeking that additional funding does come to the board for our approval.
Unless it's already legally restricted, then we
Right.
just carry it over automatically.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. We will go to item 5C. Public hearing regarding a memorandum of understanding with the City of San Angelo and the San Angelo Area Foundation in an amount not to exceed $150,000 for partial funding of parks and parks facilities, splash pad, including lands, building, equipment, facilities, and improvements, a project authorized under Section 505.152 of the Texas Development Corporation Act. Presentation by Bob Sheeman.
Thank you. This is a public hearing only for a project that's already been approved by the board. You may recall you all approved this at the last meeting. But Section 505.159 of the Economic Development Act requires that a hearing be undertaken before a project, a hearing is required before a project can be undertaken, except as provided in a subsection, a Type D corporation shall hold at least one public hearing on a proposed project before spending money to undertake the project. That's why we're doing this. This is for the second splash pad. It's $150,000 that the board approved for partial funding of a second splash pad, and that was approved at the March meeting. It was ratified by City Council on April 16th, of 2024, not 2025. One pad has fully been funded, and the Coastal DC funds will go towards funding the second pad, which is planned for Kirby Park. This is just a representative example of what a splash pad might look like. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board might have, or you can open it to public comment.
Any questions from the board? Okay. So at this point, we need to open it up for any public comment. Do we have any public comment on this item?
Jamal Shumpert, single member, District Number 2. I actually am in favor of this splash pad. I believe it'll bring a lot of tourism to San Angelo. Being that we want to create an oasis here in San Angelo, that fits. I believe it does. But the problem I do have with this is that we've prepared funding for a splash pad in the park that we haven't completed yet, using ballot funds. So that's why I was like curious about whether we're going to push this 29th Street project forward and then put that in there so that all can be completed and look nice, or were we going to straddle this out over years? Because I don't mean to be like prying a lot, but in the low-income areas in this town, there's a lot of divestment. There's no investment. Outside of our tax dollars that you throw at these developers to build some places, it's divestment. So having this splash pad at 29th Street, I think will be great for the community. It will be well used, I promise you. It'll be well used. But not having that park completed, it's like all these old structures, then here comes this very new, brand new structure, making all the old structures look bad. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. At this point, we don't need any motion on this since this has already been approved, right?
No, there's no action.
No action required.
Okay, so then we'll move on to item D, okay? The update regarding the economic development director position and search process, presentation by Michael Dane.
Good morning. Michael Dane, Interim Economics Development Director. We had a request last time to bring an update on this. Daniel and I have had several conversations, and I think where we've landed at this point is that based on current activities and objectives, that we believe we're adequately staffed. And so we anticipate that we will hold ground on this staffing pattern for the time being. However, we have our next meeting in May is strategic planning, where we talk about key objectives, and that'd be the perfect time for us to begin a discussion about what does the board see as appropriate objectives for the organization. And in preparing for this meeting, Dr. Jones and I were having a discussion about this item, and he had a great idea, I think, if you don't mind me outing your idea, and that is to work through the SBDC, have a graduate student work us up a study about how other development organizations' efforts are organized and how they're staffed, and see if we can learn something from what exists out there in the market. And so I think that'd be a great idea, and we'll try to work something up for try to put some meat on those bones with Desiree at the SPDC, and see if we can bring you a proposal.
Okay. Any comments or feedback from the board?
I did have one question. This may be a Tina question, but the salary savings, I'm assuming there's a financial impact with not filling this position. Can you walk me through that? If there is savings on the economic development side, savings on the...
Right now, it's primarily on the economic development side.
Okay.
And that's our future projects line in this budget year eclipsed $2 million, and I think that's the first time in this ballot that we've had that kind of thing happen. And that's because the growth in the revenue and the decline in the administrative expenditures allowed that to grow to that level. And so it becomes available in that future projects budget line, but it can also be moved back into, if we change our minds and decide to go a different direction, that can be moved to another line. And based on when we were considering hiring somebody, the market then would have put the salary and benefits above $200,000. So that would have been approximately a 10% decrease in future projects line to move that money back up in there. So I love the idea to study, see how others are getting these things done and how they're funding, organizing, all of those things. And so you might be thinking about, if you're interested in that kind of thing, and what do you think are the key things that you would like to see reported back on the Texas market for those kinds of things?
Thank you.
All right, any other comments from the board? No? All right,
In addition, I think we want to take a fresh look at how this function is performed, in particular director's function. And if you have ideas or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. We had a director who isn't on the board anymore who made a comment, and in addressing that comment, we ultimately earned some recognition for excellent performance. And that was all because that director made a comment about, we think this should be addressed. And so your observations are important, and we take them seriously. So, all right.
all right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I'm definitely looking forward to next month's meeting and our strategic planning meeting as we look forward into the incoming year. So thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 6, the closed session. Executive session under the provision of Government Code Title 5, Open Government Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirements that meeting be open under the following sections, and there are none, actually. All right. Yeah, so no closed session. All right, there we go. All right, so then we'll skip closed session, move on to number 7, follow-up and administrative issues. A, consideration and possible actions of items discussed in closed session, if needed, and there are none. And B, announcement and consideration of future agenda items. Do we have any?
Just as what Michael just stated, we'll have our May meeting here in this room, we'll adjourn, and then we'll move over to the training room, Dave Erickson training room, and we'll have the workshop there. Okay. So, just want to let you know that so that you can block your morning out.
Okay, and are we going to be spoiled like we were last year with breakfast at the other meeting? Okay, just so that everyone comes hungry. All right, we won't let food go to waste. All right, well, thank you, Nora. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Max, I did want to say something. I should have said it earlier, but congratulations and a big thanks to the chamber and those folks for the, the announcement that was made. We didn't say thanks to you, so thank you for that. You exceed our expectations and bring a huge value to what we do to this community and economic impact. So thank you guys for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. It was an extremely complex transaction.
All right, thanks. No, absolutely. Anyone else? If not, move to adjourn. All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, motion carries. We are adjourned. It is 8:58. Thank you, everyone.